the grandmother and your son, and you've seen her getting sick and going to hospital. So, did you care for her at some point?
She's kind of not really been at home much. She's still got all these health problems and there's still ongoing treatment and nothing's been resolved. They've given her so much medication and treatments and stuff, as we know, it just creates more problems. I think my mum was the catalyst to think, right, you need to seriously do the next step of changing your life.
But it made you realise that your health is the most important thing, as you said.
Yeah, especially that first week when she was in intensive care.
And I think we looked at her and we also look at our son, really. Cole done really well, but both of us were just we need to sort of fucking
so
life somewhere.
unhealthy.
We've got a son there who's he was 2 at the time, do you know what I mean? We're like, what the fuck are we doing?
Nicole, Josh, welcome.
Welcome.
We have a lot of people starting this journey together, right? So we have a lot of couples coming together, training together. The achievement so far of what you guys have done is actually quite incredible. And I wanted to record this. I wanted to get it in camera. I know there's a lot going on outside of your training journey. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about it. And the reason I want to inspire people who are maybe thinking they're in a bad place, they can't stand now for one reason or another. And my honest belief is that if you make the space to look after yourself with everything going on, regardless of how bad it is, you always manage better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we're going to dive into that a little bit today. And you obviously have the evidence to prove it. I'm going to start with Nicole. Whose idea was it to come to Reshape?
Nicole's.
Mine.
So you dragged them.
Yes.
Yes.
And were you supportive of coming in, or did you kind of, okay, I'll just do what you want?
Nah, I didn't start like that. I think if I remember firstly when you said it, I was kind of wary about I think the commitment, man, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been so used to going in and out of gyms and pissing it off after a short amount of time. I think the commitment was one thing. Obviously money, we had long moved houses and stuff, and we whatever, you know. But I was very intrigued by it, and when Cole was dead set on doing it, I knew it would help us both if we both done it also.
Of course.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you were so grateful that I think we both are, but you was like when you started, and then I started 2 weeks after, how much easier you found, because I started 2 weeks after Cole.
Yeah.
But so I think once I started, it was a lot easier for you as well, weren't it, food wise, and because obviously I weren't eating bad, I was still trying to eat better, but I was still doing other things. And
it's always the case when couples start. It's this external support and accountability also at home makes it a hell of a lot easier. Which the reason I think why couples always do well together. It wasn't a quick decision for you, Nicole, was it? It was you've thought about it for some time.
Yeah.
What was the reason that you wanted to do it in the first place?
Obviously to lose weight and improve my mental health and just change my life, really.
And, mental health is interesting. How long did you battle with these things for before you made that decision?
I can't remember when I first inquired about it. I know it was a few months before, actually. I can't really remember, to be honest.
It was a few months, yeah.
But, I think it was with my mum getting ill that really gave me the push to do it, because it made me realise that your health is the most important thing and it can just be taken away from you at any minute.
Yeah.
So I just thought, I need to do this because I need to just sort my life out, really.
So your mum got ill before you joined?
Yeah.
And that was one of the triggers?
Yeah.
To get you to do it?
That was January.
Okay. Was that the reason also of, decline in mental health that you're talking about?
Yeah.
You're close with your mum?
Yeah, really close, yeah. And it was really unexpected. She's always been really fit and healthy, never ill. And it was just like, bam, one day they tell me that she would have died if I didn't take her to hospital that night. So yeah, it was a massive shock, and then just life just changed from there. She was in intensive care, then moved to Adam Brooks intensive care and was there for 9 weeks, I think.
Yeah, 9 weeks.
So we had to literally move into a house. We had both the dogs to look after, Romy, back and forth to Adam Brooks, trying to work full time. And I think I just had a bit of a breakdown, really. I just couldn't cope with it all. And just got really, really depressed and didn't want to get off the sofa, didn't want to get out of bed, was just eating rubbish all the time. to cope with the stress.
The thing is, though, I think that added, sorry to butt in, that added to what you already had, though, didn't it? Because you think last year we both was on antidepressants. Do you know what I mean?
Last year. That's
probably,
new. I didn't know that.
Probably this time last year.
Yeah. So I think that, and that's why initially you decided to stop drinking alcohol and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because we were both spiraling, and you knew that what you needed to do. And I think when this happened with your mum, it's almost like the straw that broke the camel's back. Do you know what I mean? It was like you'd already done something so major in quitting alcohol and changing your life around that way, but obviously then you were comfort eating, and do you know what I mean? So you needed something a bit more regimented, routine, really. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and more focus onto something, because you know, it come to a shock of us all with your mum, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing, like Josh just said, because when I stopped drinking, I would just binge. I was really, really
It's a common symptom, by the way, also.
Yeah, I was just, biscuits, chocolate, cheesecake, like really, like breakfast as well, I'm talking. And just crazy amounts of coffee just to get me through the day. And I would think that I'm stressed, I need chocolate or whatever it was.
Yes.
Which we all know obviously makes it worse. But at the time, I'd think that would help me. And I was just, having obviously crashes every day. Just I'd binge on chocolate or whatever, and then just want to lay on the sofa and not do anything.
But then when your dopamine hits that's all you were getting, man. That's all you was relying on.
It's that short window of
Before it was alcohol, you know, that's the biggest escape. That's what's always been my escape. But because you gave that up, you just honed in on that, on the chocolate, and it was crazy.
And that's the thing, because I was 6 months, because obviously going sober was a massive thing. I don't think anyone ever thought I would do something. No. I didn't think I'd ever do something.
How much did you
like
drink before?
I was a drinker. I like to drink.
Every day?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It was like almost used it to escape.
Yeah.
The perceived reality that you're struggling.
I think it's always been a coping mechanism of mine. And it just creeps up on you, I guess, as everything does. It just gets worse and worse without you realising it.
And then as a result of that, you've gained the weight, right? As a result of that, drinking too much, you've gained the weight, you became more stressed. And then you were also on medication.
Yeah.
So antidepressants.
Yeah.
How long did you do the antidepressant thing for?
How long was that we was on that?
I don't remember. It was a few months, because I remember we were going for a really bad patch as well. And I stopped them and stopped drinking at the same time, actually, which was August. So August last year, because I'm really not a fan of medication and stuff like that. I'm quite a natural person, and to me, the fact that I did that was kind of like a bit of desperation, I guess, because some people had said they'd been on it and felt better, and I thought, let me give that a try. It was like, I don't want to say the wrong thing really, but it was just like, let me try that. And for the first few weeks, we were like, this is great.
Oh yeah.
And then, because I know, and I've always known, that when I exercise, I feel better. And I used to always say I had to do it in the morning, first thing in the morning, and I'd be a different person for the rest of the day. And I thought that taking antidepressants would help me get back to doing that, to give me that motivation again. But instead it just took it away, because I used to get to a point where I feel really bad and then think, right, I will get up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym. Whereas when I was on this, that disappeared.
It numbs you.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
So I didn't bother. I didn't go to the gym once, did I, when I was on them at all. Didn't do anything, and got worse. And then, as I say, I stopped drinking and stopped with the antidepressants at once. Felt
But that's
a lot
why you
better.
need. That's why you needed something like this so much, because I knew, and I used to say to her daily, you know, when we was both going through that bad patch, but I knew what always got Cole out of it was to exercise and eat well.
Yeah.
It was a running pattern I've seen over all the years we've been together. The minute she starts going to the gym and eating well, her mental health
like a different person.
Yeah, completely different. Do you know what I mean? And I used to say to her every single day, you know, like, stop eating them fucking biscuits in the morning. Stop eating that. Go to the gym. And I'm not saying that from a harsh, but
empathetic.
Yeah, it's like I knew what she needed to do, and I used to say to you all the time, like that what you're doing here is just creating a fucking bigger hole for you that you're just falling into. But you know, easier said than done.
It's
do you know what I
very
mean?
hard
Of
when
course.
you're in that.
Do you know why? Do you know why it's hard?
Go on.
It's objectivity. It's not necessarily knowledge. So you would know what's right and what's wrong, right? But you would not have objectivity when you're feeling bad. So when you're emotional about something or when you're struggling, for me to come to you and say, come on, Nicole, which is essentially just what you were doing, is be objective. Like, you know what to do. Why aren't you being objective? So fucking hard to be objective when you're struggling. And this is why I used to be an athlete. And sometimes you're cocky, right? So I used to fight. And your coach will come to you and you point a few like minor things that you need to improve on, because the idea is to make you the complete athlete so you can win, to eliminate the weaknesses. This is the game. Maybe like, tell me what to do. I know what to do. And then you go and get your ass kicked. Then you go back and say, okay, what were you saying?
Yeah.
But you cannot be objective towards your own self, which is also why, professional athletes need coaches. It's impossible. So a lot of people try to pep talk themselves or even their partners. But unfortunately, the seminar that I didn't attend, Nicole, I said, you weren't here, I don't think, either. Were you here? No, you came. Yeah, you came. Of course you came. The prize, I remember. It's a really bad idea for your partner to coach you towards something, because they're almost like you. They're too close. So you can't take objectivity from them. But what moved you, I think, was the pain of struggle that made you want to do something, which is really good. I have a question here. You quit alcohol and antidepressants at the same time.
Pretty much around the same time, I think.
Yeah? What made you take that decision?
Partly, our relationship was not good at all.
No.
I kind of was staying at my mum's, weren't I? We were just pretty bad.
Oh yeah, that was like.
Do you think it was connected to everything else that was happening? Like how you were feeling then affected your relationships together?
I think we was a bad influence on each other for a long time, because I was also drinking every day,
And then tell me why it's not the case. So tell me why it feels that way, and then tell me why and how you discovered it's not the case.
I don't know. Oh, prone.
It's basically back to what we were talking about, why you come off and stuff in the first place.
Well, when I started taking them, I thought it was going to be like, I guess this magic pill, basically.
Which essentially it was for a while.
Yeah, I thought that it was going to improve my mental health and give me the motivation and drive and all that stuff to do the things that I know I needed to do, but couldn't do it. I thought it was a magic pill, and it wasn't, basically. It made me worse, because the drive that I've always had in me to do these things when I know that I've got really bad and think there's nothing else I need to do other than get my ass up and go to the gym. Because even when I wake up early in the morning, like 5-6 o'clock, and didn't go to the gym, I'd be in a completely different mood, wouldn't I, for the rest of the day when I get up early. But yeah, as I say, when I started taking them,
It buried every...
I didn't care about any of that, because I felt okay. Didn't, obviously, but my body obviously thought that, it wasn't giving me the push to do any of the things that I started taking them for in the first place. Basically.
It's like the pill that takes the headache away when the problem is a brain tumor.
Yeah, exactly.
It numbs you.
And it just like masks everything.
Yeah, and it makes you unaware. But I have something here to say, and it's really... A lot of people are going to hate me for this. If you talk about the symptoms of being depressed and actually being depressed at the cause of the heart, the doctors don't differentiate between the two. So you can be sad about something else, but quite in your control, and you can control it. But they would still prescribe to you the medication, which I think is terrible. GPs and doctors are trained to prescribe things mindlessly because of the symptom, not because of the cause.
Yeah.
So you can go and talk about your symptoms, and they will give you the medication that they will give to someone else who has perhaps a genuine problem. The problem is, in that process, they make you think you have a bigger problem than what you actually have, which makes you think you're out of control. Well, really, all you need to do is maybe a little pivot, in your life, and you do something different, and then you change for the better for the rest of your life. But that advice you never get from a doctor. It's really interesting, isn't it?
You just made me think, actually. That was also when I signed up to the first time when I joined the waiting list for Reshape, was the exact same time that I stopped drinking and stopped the antidepressants. Remember when we sent a few messages and I said I've already taken one action?
Yeah.
That was this. I put myself on the waiting list.
This is when you was at your mum's?
Yeah.
Right,
So that was when I first signed up, which must have been like, when was that? Was it like August time? Maybe? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
I'll ask you something.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'll ask you this, Josh. You've seen Nicole going through all of the stuff that she's speaking about, and then you see her now. If you knew what you know today, what the advice that you would give her be August last year? What would you tell her?
I'd have told her the same thing I always told her, to be honest. Even though it wouldn't work, it's hard because you're reflecting back on a time when you're seeing how she is right this second. I just knew what she needed, and it's always what she needed, is to do what brings her the most joy, and like little things. She said about getting up early. When Cole's on full form, she'll get up at 5 a.m. and put her laptop on and work. When Cole's not, she could wake up at 5 a.m. and sit there and eat, you know. You could just do that taking aside of everything else that's going on in her life right now, I just know that an active Nicole and a healthy Nicole literally just spreads across her whole energy and aura constantly. She's a different person. Like this person now, even to the person she was before we started in March, whatever, is a completely different person. It's like, and it's hard to say what advice I'd give her because I'm always there to support her. Obviously, we've had our bad times and whatnot, but I'm always there to support her. But it's like, again, I said, it's about being harsh. She knows exactly what she always needs to do. And even though it's so hard to pull yourself out of that rut to do it, every time you do it, we get the same results, innit?
Yeah.
Every single time. Obviously, this time's a bit more.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
You
never
know,
done
listen,
it.
she's never gone in like this, and she's done what 11 weeks now, 12 weeks.
Yeah, nearly 12.
Of just constant eating healthy, training, being the best version of yourself for in our relationship, for our son at home, and all this coinciding with what's going on with her mum, you know. So in August last year, if she would have done this, imagine the difference. Not saying there'd be a difference, but the pressure on your shoulders wouldn't even be as great as it is now because of what's going on with your mum. So if she can feel like she is now during this field of what's going on, imagine what she could have been in August. Do you know what I mean? She'd have been firing on even higher cylinders.
If you had done it in August, it would have been the brace before the crash that you needed to. Because I could actually, when you came to see me in the consult, it was easy. Like you guys, you were like super ready. I could see in you, Josh, that you wanted to support her and wanting to do this. And that was quite obvious to me. And I really wanted to help you. You do know I turn people away all the time, right?
You told us.
I was never gonna, like, you guys, I knew right that minute that you were gonna smash it. I didn't know anything about your mom, what's happening in the background. I just knew that you really wanted to do it. And in my own experience and the people that I worked with, it always makes things better. Doesn't matter how bad things are outside.
Yeah.
It always makes it better. It's always a positive.
And I think that I'm glad I'd done it when I did it. I'm glad I didn't do it back then because drinking was a massive part of my life. And it was literally 6 months that I'd got 6 months of being sober under my belt, and then I started this, and I feel like that was a good time because it was like, right, 6 months. I've done 6 months now. Now let's start, because if I'd have done everything at once, I'd have probably just, I don't know. So I felt like it was like one thing, and that right now let's change the eating and all of that stuff as well. So I'm glad I did it when I did it. But as I say, I think my mum was the catalyst to think, right, you need to seriously like do the next step of changing your life, basically. You've already done this massive thing being sober. Now let's switch the rest of the shit up.
How old's your mum?
62. I think
62. How old is
62 this year. Sorry, Mum.
How old is your son?
3.
And what is your relationship, the relationship between your mum and your son?
Good.
Close?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen that dynamic, the grandmother and your son, and you've seen her getting sick and going to hospital. So did you care for her at some point?
She's she's kind of not really been at home much since January, if I'm honest, has she? She's
Just the odd like week here.
yeah, she's like been in hospital the whole time. The odd week or so, but when she comes home, she had a good couple of. She came home.
She had a good little 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
didn't she? When,
where she seemed almost like back up, that she's still got all these health problems and there's still ongoing treatment and nothing's been resolved. But she just seemed.
But that's when she first was released from Addenbrooke's
Yeah.
because she was at a point where they was like she can be released. Although I was dead against it
Yeah.
because I knew, previous to speaking to the doctors, that her levels had to get to a certain point before this disease she had was eliminated. And they said she was coming out, and I said straight away, I said, I've been saying it for the longest. I said she shouldn't be fucking coming out, and she comes out, and like clockwork, like I said 2-3 weeks, and then boom.
And then
She's
just since
back.
then, it's been one thing after the
Yeah.
other because
Now it's
she's
just
had
a
to
spiral.
they've given her so much medication and treatments and stuff. As we know, it just creates more problems. So she's just got. It's literally one thing after the other at the
it's
minute. It's
just-
just a friggin' nightmare.
And nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? And that's why I said to you the other day when we spoke, like when she came out again, and I've been saying it. She's at home. We ain't doctors. We don't know what to do with her. Do you know what I mean?
She can't. Well, she's had to be taken up to A&E twice since she came out the first time, hasn't she?
Yeah, but she comes out for a day and goes back the next day.
Yeah.
And for her, that's again. I said to Cole's mum, I said, the stress that's putting on you alone, of coming out, going back in, coming out, going back in, and I said, and I was saying it in a. I didn't mean to be horrible, but I said I had a word with you, didn't I? The last time she come out, and I said, I don't want to stick my 2 pence in, but this ain't fair on Nicole. As much as we want her mum at home, I don't wish her mum in hospital, of course. But when she comes home,
I'm just stressed. To death
everything's
about
on
whether she's gonna
cold.
die.
It's almost like it's. Do you know what? It's mad. It's like when she's in hospital, it's almost an avoidance thing. Still thinking about her.
Of course, yeah.
But when it's in your face.
But you also know she's in the right place when she's in
Yeah.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
She's got a
She's
team.
taken care
Because when
of.
she's at home, it's like I'm responsible for looking after her.
Yeah.
And I'm
And you don't
not,
know.
I don't know
What
the
are you
clue
gonna
what's
do?
going on. And like the other day, I'd got a blood pressure monitor for her, and her blood pressure was like. Sorry, Mum, talking about your business like this. But it was like 198 over 113 or something like that. And at least I then had the evidence to bring them up and be like, look, she shouldn't be at home. There's all these things that have been left untreated. This is the blood. That was the day I came in the other day for that other video. And yeah, so we don't want her in hospital, obviously. But at the same time, we know that's where she needs to be.
Yes.
Where she's got the team of specialists that are there, that know what's going on, can monitor her. So
Of course, it's what's best for her.
Yeah.
For
It's the
sure.
only place she should be.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree. But it made you realize that your health is the most important thing, as you said.
Yeah, especially that first week when she was in intensive care, and it's like,
Oh yeah, it was just
is
like
she
when,
gonna survive this? Like, what is good? Because the first week we didn't know what was going on. It was just all so like sudden.
I think it put so many things into perspective.
Yeah.
Didn't it? And I think we looked at her and we also look at our son and think,
Yeah,
really, like Cole done really well because she'd quit drinking a long time ago, but eating and thing. But both of us were just like, we need to sort our fucking lives
so
out,
unhealthy.
man. We've got a son there who's
Yeah.
like, he was 2 at the time. Do you know what I mean? We're like, what the fuck are we doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, he's 2 years old. We're not old, but we're only getting older, innit? We ain't getting younger. So it's like, and I think that's what then made me think, well, maybe I'll fucking jump on as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I was, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was definitely all cold.
Was it more of a support thing for you though?
No, I needed it as well.
You needed it. You
I needed
realised
it.
that.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think you wanted to accept
I don't.
it.
That's my problem. Man. I'm a barrier, man. I just dig.
Yeah.
I've always done it since a kid.
Because even when I was first talking about it, you were like, no, you don't need it. I can do this and that. But we've both got the same personalities, haven't we?
Oh shit.
And we
Yes.
can't stick to things. We'll start going to the gym or eating healthy, and then one of us will say, I fancy a kebab or whatever it is. And then we'll just be like, oh, fuck it. We just cannot stick to anything.
But that's why this is crazy, because we've been doing it like 12 weeks, 10 weeks. Like, we're probably in the happiest place of our relationship than we ever have been. And August last year, we was in the worst possible place we've ever been.
Yeah.
Like, she was living at her mum's for like 3 months or
It was
whatever.
kind of like we'd separated. Really.
Yeah, it
You
was
were
like
having roomie
co-parenting
for days here and there, and it was like...
Amen to that. Let that be a reminder to anyone.
Yeah.
When you're your best, you're also the best for everybody else around you
Yeah.
and in your life. A lot of people do not see it this way, and a lot of people actually see this as they're taking something away from somebody else. Let that be the money or the time that you're going to spend on yourself. A lot of people think, okay, and especially a lot of mothers are guilty of this. Men tend to be a bit more selfish than women. A lot of women think, nah, I'm not gonna give the time to myself for the money. I'm gonna, you know, they almost, it's weird because you see it as a trade-off, right? I'm taking something away from my kids to do something for myself, and that makes me feel bad, which is the most unaware thing that a woman can probably do, because if you do that, you actually become better for your kids.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And then ask me, or if I ask you 10 years down the line and I tell you which one of the two scenarios was actually better for your kid, the fit, happy, healthy mom,
Oh, mate.
100%. We're
That's some
totally
question-
different
that's
people and
not even a
parents.
question you need
but
to
they don't
ask.
think about it this
Yeah.
way. It's kind of nuts. But also because if your relationship together and you became genuinely better in yourselves, then you became better for each other as well.
Oh, mate.
I said, didn't I? I feel like we've created our own little peace inside
Yeah.
our own heads, but our family as well. It's just more peaceful. Obviously stressful having a 3-year-old and 2
Of course,
dogs.
but the thing that you say constantly now is, "Oh, I love our little family."
Yeah,
And
it's just like a peaceful little
we're just a
family
unit
life.
now. Do you know
like
what I mean?
we,
And
I don't know, we go to bed and watch TV.
yeah,
it's
but we're just so
calm.
more present with our son. We
Yeah.
don't get so like lose our rag so quickly
Yeah.
with it, because we're being the best versions of ourselves. So it reflects on everything we do. Do you know what I mean?
It almost expands your bandwidth. It's almost like you have more capacity for everything
Yeah.
around you.
More
And
patience,
yeah,
everything.
no resentment.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if you're happy, then you can almost absorb more things and deal with other problems in a much more comfortable way.
Yeah,
And more than
exactly.
one thing at a time. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Yeah.
like before. It's not. Now it's just like this is just life, man. This is why it's got to be done, isn't it? We're parents, like.
And whenever he does something now, we're a bit more like, that's just a normal behaviour for a 3-year-old. Whereas
Yeah.
before we were like, what? Like I used to just think, why is he doing this to me? I'm obviously like he hates me. Whereas now it's like, that's just totally
He's
normal
3.
behaviour. Yeah, but we just deal with things so much differently,
Yeah,
and
we
obviously
do.
children pick up on your energy.
100%.
I know that if I'm having a bad day,
Oh.
he could be a right little sod, and then I just
So-
think, why are you doing this today? But I know it's because I've started the day stressed or whatever.
Well, we spoke yesterday when we was cooking dinner. We said literally how much well behaved is Roman now.
Yeah.
Like, and it's because he's just obviously is just a natural reflection of what
Yeah.
us. And do you know what I mean? He's so much well behaved. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but it's because he's obviously getting that attention he desires, and he's not.
Seen that story you put up on your Instagram as well. You took him to the gym and he was watching a session that you were doing.
Yeah.
This is just what I was about to say, actually. I was just going to say, even like, because it's such a big thing, he's always now like talking about what's health, so he
Yeah.
eats so much better for a start. Because before, as we were eating terribly, he obviously wasn't eating terribly all the time, but we had on our brains, or just chuck something quick in. Whereas now we're like, actually, it's just as quick to chuck a chicken breast in the air fryer.
Yeah.
Our mindset's changed, and
Yeah.
now he
And
just eats
everything
so,
you give him, he goes, is
yeah.
chicken healthy, Daddy?
Yeah.
Like, it's always like healthy.
Yeah,
do you know
so-
what I
He's
mean?
talking about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, literally, he's always saying stuff. Our prawn's healthy, which is great. And as you just said about coming to the gym, like I want him to come more so that he can see the just positive.
Normalize it.
Yeah.
This is what should happen.
Yeah. And even when I'm trying to get my steps in, he says, "Are you trying to get your steps
Yeah, he
in, Mum?"
does. He does.
Oh, this kid, what are you doing to him?
Yeah, because she'll be pacing up and down the kitchen for 10 minutes while we're doing the dinner to get our last couple of steps in.
And even when we first had to go to my mum's, do you remember he went for a really weird patch of not wanting to go out walking with the dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
And was being a nightmare. Whereas now he's like all excited to go out for a
Yeah.
walk and be healthy. He calls it being healthy. It's just it's just rippled through the whole house.
This is so cool. Okay. I'm going to ask you the same thing. What do you think made the difference this time? Why have you made it this far, and why have you got the good results that you've got? Start with you, Nicole. You've been to gyms before. You've tried the fitness health kick before. This time, obviously, your results are quite amazing. We've put it on the board the other day. You were a size 16 when you started?
Was it 16 or 18? Wasn't it?
18.
My jeans were a size 18
Right, so you were a size 18.
and now 10.
That is in 3 months?
Less than that. It'll be 12 weeks Monday. It was last week, so it was 10 and a half weeks, I think. Because I bought a size 12 pair of jeans on a Friday, and then 2 weeks later on the Friday I changed them for a 10 because I hadn't even worn them because of the sun. I was so chuffed.
This is quite crazy. So what do you think made the difference this time?
I think it's the fact that where we have the, obviously Reshape in general, but we have the coach side of it and the nutrition and everything. I think because before we would just kind of wing it with when we were trying to be healthy, with what we thought you get told different things, and we.
Yeah, but we'd be like, oh, just shish kebabs.
Yeah,
right? Cause
so we'd eat well for a couple of days and then
Okay, so
after
a bit of
that,
slack.
because there's just no accountability and stuff. Whereas because you've got, it's like you have to check in daily. I said it to you the other day. You don't want to let yourself down, but you don't want your coach to also be annoyed with you, or not annoyed, but disappointed, I guess. So it's like it's not just you anymore; it's someone else watching over you and kind of encouraging you to stay on the right path. And I think the way our brains are wired, we need something like that to help.
Accountability, yeah, for sure.
It's like. I keep saying there's no choice. There is a choice, of course, because so far we've done nothing wrong. We could have, obviously, so there is a choice. But in my head, I see it as there's not a choice. I have to do these 10,000 steps a day. I have to eat my meals that I've been given, and it just helps my brain and how our brains are to think this is what we've got to do. It's like you said, like a regimented regime or whatever you said, routine. It's like we need that.
So let me ask you this then: if you had everything all the same, and we take the accountability away, if I give you the same meal plan, if I give you access to the same sessions, but there's no accountability, you don't think you would do as well?
No, I think once I've done now, once I've got to I can't get my words out. Obviously, we're doing a 6-month program, which I'm glad we did because I'm almost at the end of my 3 months. So I'm glad I think I said at the beginning, and I think 6 months is a good time for you to, because this is becoming ingrained in our brains that this is how we live now, and it's just easy now.
It's just normal now, isn't it? It's just like everyday life.
Yeah, and it's something that we've learned and that we can then carry through and maintain in our normal lives after this is finished. I can't remember what you asked me.
What made the difference? You said the accountability. It's a really good answer.
So I think if we started it and there was no one, the having a coach really helps. I think after I've done this, I could do it without the coach because we've sort of well, probably not as much.
No, I think you could. I think the 6 months with the coach is definitely necessary, but I think
at the
you learn
beginning,
the tools and what you got to do. And I think by the time after 6 months, you hold yourself accountable. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's not even that. It doesn't feel like you're holding yourself accountable after 6 months. It's more of it's just my habits. It's just what I do.
Yeah.
You're an autopilot. You don't even think about it. And this is the 6 months thing is a really nice duration because it's enough time to break your old habits and beliefs, and it's also enough time to build new ones.
Yeah.
And this is what I observed. 12 weeks, not so much. So we have had people relapse after 12-week programs before.
Yeah.
Which is why we created. Yeah, some people did, and we created this other phase called reinforce to normalize everything. But even what you're doing now with the amount of effort and attention you're giving to your plan and to yourselves now, I still don't think that's sustainable. I still think if you keep going at the same speed, you will either burn out or rebel. Yeah. So it needs to be normalized, and normalization is quite different from what you're doing now. Normalization is having a shish kebab every once in a while. It's perhaps even having right. Bring back the old times with moderation, not the way you used to do it. And also, do you still drink, Josh?
I haven't drunk since I've done this.
You miss it? Once in a while, when you've normalized, it's okay. When you go out with the lads and I know you're having a barbecue. Claudia called me about that today, and I told them what to tell you. But all these things become more common, and you will be comfortable with them because they wouldn't affect you in a negative way. This is what normalization looks like: being able to live, maintain the result, and to live your life, a life that you consider to be fun, not restrictive.
I think that was we've had this conversation many a times, haven't we? And I said as much as, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying this. Like the results and everything, and just mentally, but I did say to Cole, I've been saying I could not sustain this for the rest of my life.
You shouldn't be able to.
I couldn't do it because it's so extreme.
To
what we was like, I was drinking 5 days a week. I'm a Liverpool fan, but if fucking West Brom was playing, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the pub because the football's on. Do you know what I mean? Like any excuse to go to watch to get to the pub. So it's like, and I said to Cole, once it's finished, it's not like it's going to be like, oh, you know, fuck it, let's go down the pub. But if it's a weekend or it's a Wednesday and my friends are like, oh, it's the Champions League's on, let's go for a beer, I don't want to be able to be like, oh, nah, because my life's over here now, because I won't last in that forever.
Yeah, and that's
know what I mean?
reasonable.
Yeah.
That is reasonable. You just need to understand your boundaries and how far you can take this
Yeah.
before you start causing damage.
Of course.
And that is the thing. So again, if you relax too much, you probably end up going the other way, which you don't want,
No.
right?
No.
But there is such a thing as limits, right? And a lot of people that I worked with personally, when I don't do so much of that now, but I used to run a lot of challenges. So every year I would take a few people in and I would punish them for their sins. My challenges were known to be the toughest, right? And people would have mental breakdowns a few times during the challenges and stuff. But then we didn't have no phase, no normalization phase, which is now we call reinforce. And then some of these people go like, all right, you rebel. Fuck it. I'm just going to go the other way again.
Yeah.
If it goes for too long or if it goes too hard and you don't know what to do afterwards, you'll relapse. We've tested it. We know what happens. So yeah, so for you guys, you know, slowing down a bit, understanding what is most important, understands the things that you can compromise on, will definitely make this more of a lifestyle thing, and you can take it forward for however long you live. But the one staple, please remember this, the one staple that you cannot give up on is training. And training has to be progressive. So training is not subject to the same rule. So if I say, take it easy with your food and your lifestyle, what happens, you know, outside of the gym, that's valid. But training, no. Training, you have to train for something always. And it's not necessarily body composition goals. So it's not necessarily getting lean. But you have to have some sort of goals. And the best goals you can have at that stage is what we call performance goals. So you aim to do more. You aim to lift heavier. You aim to train harder. You aim to increase the volume of your training. A really nice goal for women, Nicole, is to be able to do pull-ups, right? Without bands, without nothing. So that's a really nice goal. So, you know, that's something you can aim for once you get the body that you want. For you, it'd be like, okay, I want to add some more size to my shoulders.
Yeah.
That's, you know, all these nice things you can continue with. But the strictness that you have outside of here now, I don't promote. That's a lifestyle thing. And it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Tell me then.
I just don't think it's sustainable, is it?
No, I agree. I 100% agree. What do you think made the difference this time?
First of all, I needed to do it because, yeah, innit, you know, mentally. I think that's a massive thing, innit, to be fair. Just my mental state. And I'll be honest with you, mate, I was moving like, I was being an idiot, do you know what I mean? And just acting like a fool, really. And, yeah, just...
You know you could be better.
Oh, way better.
Yeah.
And it was like... And you know, the last person who notices is yourself, innit?
Yeah.
People around you notice it more time first. And then when you really realise and think... So when Cole first mentioned it to me, I think it was just accepting the fact that I needed to do something to change the way I was living.
Yeah.
And thinking, am I prepared to do that? Weak, maybe. Do you know what I mean? It's like weak. And I think I've said to you, and I think I've said it to you, since I've came here, like the discipline I've got in my life, like is fucking insane, man. Because I don't need much persuading to do stupid shit. Do you know what I mean? Really. And in it, let's be honest. And like the fact that I've done this, and like Cole said, when she quit alcohol and that before and the bad, like I done everything on the day, bam, and just come straight here.
Yeah.
So everything in my life on that Monday I started just changed.
Yeah.
And I've done it all at once. Do you know what I mean?
That discipline, did it carry over to other areas in your life?
Everything. Yeah.
So your music. So Josh the artist. How is he different?
Mate, I'm doing stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot.
It's been crazy what you've done, actually.
Like in the last 10 weeks, I'll be honest, man. I've probably made more music in the last, I wouldn't say 10 weeks because it didn't happen straight away. I'm not saying I went to my first session on the Monday and by Tuesday I was writing a fucking album. Do you know what I mean? It took a few weeks for everything to set in.
There's like the painful weeks in the beginning where it's really fucking sucks.
Yeah,
I know.
it was like, that weren't no easy shit. Do you know what I mean? It was good because it was making me feel like do you know what I think one of the good things is? And when that was the first that I found out is the way you do it. You know the weighing yourself every morning?
Yeah.
Bro, I look forward to standing on the scales. Do you know what I mean? Before I used to think, well, every fucking day, like my mate's gonna. But that gave me an incentive to want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I lay there, my alarm go off in the first like week or so, and that's why I was speaking to Jamie before because my weight weren't coming down. And I said to you before in our first consultation that I used to lose weight super quickly, and when it weren't going, I was thinking, the fuck is going on with this? Do you know what I mean? But when it started going, the minute I wake up, I'm not trying to go back to sleep. I'm thinking, let me get up and see if I've lost some weight on the scale.
Yeah.
And and that everyday thing is like, it gives your day some purpose almost. Do you know what I mean? And something to look forward to. And yeah, when you step on it, sometimes your weight fluctuate, and you think, oh, I've put on a couple, 0.3 of a kilo. You think, oh, fuck's sake. But now I'm at that stage. Now I've lost so much weight, and everyone reminds me, don't you focus on your weight no more. That's not. But yeah, that to start with was such a good tool to have because it just makes you want to get out of bed and see them results.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because you used to be a nightmare to get up, didn't you?
Oh, terrible.
I could my alarm will go off and I'm straight out of bed chatting shit.
Yeah.
His will go off like 10 times.
Yeah,
snooze,
terrible.
snooze, snooze. It
To be
used
honest,
drive me
Nicole,
insane.
that would be so annoying. Like, just
What,
don't talk to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not-
Now
she-
he's straight up.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I'll even speak in them. I didn't used to speak. She'll talk to me, and I'm like,
He used to be like, babe,
I'm
just...
like, come on, man, you need to give me like half an hour. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, then that would like
talk up
bring
to
my
coffee,
energy
yeah.
down. Whereas now it's just
Nah.
totally different.
But yeah, going back to what you said in regards to the music, mate. So when I'm saying in the last 10 weeks, I'd say in the last like 4 to 5 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, where I think what's happening here is really kicking into my mental and my physical and everything. I've made more music in the last 5 to 6 weeks than I've probably made in the last 2 years.
Amazing.
Like,
Definitely.
Like really like crazy. Like I remember, I don't know if you remember, you obviously have a lot of meetings with a lot of people. I spoke to you on the first day when I got here and I said you followed me on Insta and you said I was a rapper.
Yeah.
And I said, I remember exactly what you said. I said something about, hopefully this will help me with my music. And you was like, this fucking will. And if you want it, you'll make it because you'll be a different person once you finish this. And I'm only 10 weeks in and I'm already...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the thought of doing music's a hard one with me because I'm such a self-doubter and a massive critic on myself and my belief system is shut.
So are all the greats, Josh.
Yeah. What's that?
All the greats,
Of
I would
course,
say.
yeah. So like from going to that to now being like, I'm still a critic about it. Of course, that will never stop. But mate, I think my brain is just
It's different.
on a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
pattern.
Your focus would be
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Your clarity would be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before you would like go up to the studio or whatever and be like, I'm going to try and write, and you'd be like, nothing's coming, and get annoyed with yourself. And
then what would I do? I need to get a drink.
Yeah.
And I used to think I could never write music unless I've like had a drink and let loose or whatever. Whereas
Now
I've
it's
made
just like...
all this music in the last 5-6 weeks and I ain't had a drop of alcohol. Do you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, so it's mental.
It's just coming to you just so
And
like...
do you know what we were speaking about on the way up here? Do you know what one of the crazy things is as well? Is like, before I started Reshape, I was going to like opticians and doctors and shit because I was having the craziest headaches, bro.
Severe.
Like
Really
severe,
severe.
constantly. And I went to the opticians and stuff, and they were saying they might have found something that looked like diabetes, and because my granddad's got diabetes, they said they might have found something that looked like diabetes. I tell you, 2 weeks after doing this, I haven't had one headache.
Not one.
And I had these for months, like in it.
They've got
Like
really bad.
Like I was coming home
Start
from
getting
work,
paranoid about it.
yeah, I was coming home from work, bro, laying on a sofa. I could not move. Didn't want no one to talk to me. Ice pack on my head and shit, like in it, like excruciating pain. I haven't had one headache since I've done this.
This is so cool.
Like literally none.
This is so cool.
It's crazy. Really.
I'm gonna say you a challenge.
Go on.
Okay. I want you to write a few verses about Reshape, about your journey in Reshape, not just
Okay.
about Reshape, right? About everything negative that you told me today. It has to be your way, and you have to be comfortable to put it out there. But you give it to me, and then I will use it as an intro,
Okay.
okay, for some of my videos.
Okay.
But I think it should capture some of the stuff that we talked about, so how you felt before, the dark times that even both of you, had, and then how everything changed to the positive. And now, because everything's coming back to the same thing, I'm going to take this to a technical place, the nutritionist that I am, because we have a lot of business people that come here as well. And a lot of people don't tie the health of their brains to the health of their bodies. You don't just, you're just your brain, isn't it? You just don't think about it.
Yeah.
It's just there. But it's crazy the amount of changes that happen to your brain once you start looking after yourself as well. And now everything you're telling me about how much more efficient or clear or productive with your music, it happens in all different levels. Even as a mother or as a father, it's completely different. And people that run businesses also know this, because, they come here, and usually also there's that trade-off argument was, I'm going to take time away from my business and I'm going to give it to myself, which makes some people panic a little bit. But then once they start doing that, everything gets better. So the business starts doing well and everything gets better. And the same thing is happening for you. So this is so profound to me, because I've seen it enough times. Now you're experiencing the improvements as you do more of this.
Yeah.
And two things that I attribute to this particular thing is eating well and the intensity of your sessions. It's not just training. So I promise you this: if you were to eat well and train, but at a lower level of intensity, it would not be the same.
No.
Your brain would not work the same way. So now it's all thanks to the beasting that we give you in the gym. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you accept the challenge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see
Cool.
what I can do. For sure.
Thank you so much, guys.